Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show. This is where we answer all of your questions about puppyhood. I'm Bethany.
And I'm Sparky from the Puppy Academy. We're excited you're here. And now, let's get to the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Ask a Puppy Trainer Show live episode 252. We have Wally here with us today. He's got all the good smells. No, not in there. You don't need those smells.
Show that cute face.
Listen. He says, now I'm going to bite you for holding my paws. Yes, he is very cute. How old is he? He's got to be a baby, like 12 weeks. Honestly, a dog this big, this breed, he could be like 9 weeks and be this big still.
He's a little bit older.
I feel like he's probably about 10 to 12 weeks though. I know, you're just hanging out. All right, you just hang out. Oh, very sweet. He's still got puppy breath too. I know. All right, don't eat the mic. All right, guys, let's get into it. So we had a couple questions sent in. Again, anyone who wants a question answered that's live with us, please put your question in the chat. I like the back and forth, so I'm going to definitely prioritize questions that I'm answering here and I get a follow-up, or questions that I answer there that there's a follow-up. The back and forth is much more fun. I've just accepted that he might jump off and go for an adventure.
You don't want to hold him a little more?
He doesn't want me to hold him a little bit more. He is a 12-week-old puppy who wants to get pet for about 15 seconds and then chew my paper. Ricky just asked a very valuable question. He goes, don't you want to hang out with him and pet him more? And my answer was, I don't think he wants to be pet more. Most puppies don't. So look how he's kind of sniffing, checking me out. When I was petting him, he was starting to kind of lick at my hands, lick at my arms. That's usually when the first signs that he's going to start gnawing or kind of nipping at me. Most puppies don't want to be held for long periods of time. They want to be trained for 10 minutes, walked for 10 minutes, played with for 5 to 10 minutes. And then when they're finally exhausted, then you can get a little bit of like affection time. I'm going to try it. I'm going to bring him into me, kind of hold him on my lap. He did just get a walk about 20, 30 minutes ago. Now, I could tell he's a little bit fussy. So look how I kind of bring a hand under the chest. I massage the chest. I'm taking good control over the space. So I'm massaging on the shoulders right here, on the chest, on the other shoulder. And when I give these slow, calm massages, most dogs will kind of just settle in my arms. And then few signs that he's not settling and he's starting to get a little tired of me petting him is he'll start licking at my hand, try to like kind of get his head towards me. That's usually when I'll just kind of casually relax, move the hand away. He's checking it out. I'm hoping he's just going to lay down right there. There's a dog out there. He's watching him. Let's see. So some, oh, no. So he gets up, he wants to move, and that would be me letting him move around. That would be also a leash on his collar or a leash on the harness. And if he did want to get affection, this is like our break time window where he just gets to exist with us, but we don't necessarily have to give him attention. I would let him sit on a 6-foot leash, hang out next to me here, on the floor there. I might sit on the floor with him on place. I would just teach him how to kind of like exist around me. He is so cute. I know, he's super cute. The problem is he knows he's cute and he's been getting a lot of love.
TikTok question when you want it.
TikTok, okay. I'm gonna go over this one really quick. How long, so we had a video that was, how long should walks and training be for a 12-week-old golden retriever puppy? I think he's about 12 weeks old. He's obviously not a golden retriever puppy. He's gonna have less energy than a golden would, but for a 12-week-old puppy, the question down here was from Tigger, is the 10 to 15 minutes training, is the 10 to 15 minutes training and how many times a day would you do it? So my 10 to 15 minutes of like activity time and training, my training window has a couple different aspects to it. It's got some version of a walk and some version of food guidance and like redirection work. So I'll take his kibble, his middle meal, I'll take half of it and I'll do recall where I just call him 3 feet across the floor, 25 times over 5 to 10 minutes. I'll do place where I put him on place, luring him with food. I get him to sit, and then I just release him with food again. He's done. You guys hear the whininess? So if I got that and he was tired, I would do like a 3-strike rule. Okay, no, he settles down, he lays down. Like, I'm comfortable. Got him? Big puppy. If I got that and I was doing like an existence window, a break window where he gets to be around me, I get the whining. I could do like a, hey, no, settle down. He just kind of looks at me, lays down. Good. He gets to relax again. He does it again, barking at me. I could say no, kind of move in, bump the edge of the cot a little bit, redirect with some food, get him to resettle. he settles, good boy, treat, and then kind of move away again. If I get that multiple times though in a row, that is literally him telling me, I'm tired, I'm cranky, I need to do something. You've already walked him, you've already played with him, you've already trained him. There's not much more you can do in that sense. That's when he's ready to actually go back to the crate. And Tigger, that's going to answer your question as well. The 10 to 15 minutes, that's walk and training, but I have an activity window I follow. So the activity window is we have some form of work, some form of play, some form of break. Work, walking your training. Play, that's 5 to 10 minutes of toy play. If I'm doing like a long stuffy toy, so I don't usually do like a ball for tug. It's too hard to get out of their mouth and get them to drop it. I use a long rope or a long like stuffy toy. I turn my fists in with the toy to make like a little loop or like a little bow with the end of the toy, and I use that to build drive. So I kind of like push it towards their mouth. I kind of engage with them a little bit. I don't do hard pulls where they let it go quickly. I want to do light pulls where they start building resistance. Once I have resistance, then I want to lock my elbows in kind of by my ribs right here. Boom, I hold everything still. He's going to try to tug the toy, but I'm locked in here, so he can't move the toy from my body. After a second, he kind of gets bored of it. He lets it go. When he lets it go, bring it to your chest. Ask for a sit. Once he does the sit, good. Break. And I literally give him the toy back. There's a balance. So there's a lot of different quadrants we have to hit for a dog to learn how to be settled and calm. So the 10 to 15 minutes of training, how many times a day? I do the activity window 3 times a day. Minimum. I can do more, but most people 3 times a day is still quite a bit for them, especially if like you guys work and you both have full-time jobs. So I'm looking for 3 times a day. All the other crate windows, when I bring him out of crate and he gets his like activity time, I don't expect you guys to do training 12 times a day for 30 minutes each time. That would be a little much. What we expect is when he comes out of the crate and he's not doing his training, you guys do some form of existence. He always gets a potty when he comes out, and then he gets to hang out in his playpen around you. He gets to be on a dog bed with a back tie next to you, and you're working at your desk and you have like a little jar of treats. He's laying on his bed playing with his toy. He gets bored of the toy, looks around, food, sit down, good food, and you can do some like periodic treating just to help them do some like place duration. So you're actually teaching them how to settle and be a calm dog when outside of the crate. The 3 activity windows, you need those to be able to get those calm windows where he comes out of the crate, does a potty, and then gets to hang out in the playpen. Now, I do also like to tell people this. I did a lesson with the dog last Thursday, and the owners, they're hilarious. They're awesome. Or sorry, last Friday. They're really funny. They're really fun though. They were like, hey, Sparky, you've just trained our dog for 45 minutes. It was a young puppy, 12, 11 weeks old. It was just insane with energy. And they're like, I was like, yeah. And they're like, you mentioned something about break and being able to settle on place. I went, yeah. And they went, is our dog going to be able to do that? I went, no. I said, your dog probably won't be able to do that for another like 2 or 3 months. The dog was so young and emotionally immature that no matter how tired we made the puppy, physical, mental, there was no existence. The puppy didn't have that capability yet. In the next like 4 to 6 weeks, a couple months from now, as the puppy matures, that emotional maturity will help him be tired and actually be able to settle. So there is a version where some puppies, if they're young enough, there isn't a version of where they get freedom to like be outside the crate and just roam around because they're constantly chewing, jumping, nipping, getting things that they shouldn't get into. That's nothing that you did wrong. It's nothing that your puppy does wrong. That's emotional maturity. If they don't have that, they won't be able to settle even after all the exercise, walk, and play. That's when I would just go right to the crate or do a back tie where they're clipped to my hip and I'm doing periodic food work while they're on place. And if I eliminate the food, they keep getting off. I'm just like, okay, so without my attention on you, you actually need more crate time. A young puppy at that age who has that much struggle to give you focus and settle, they usually need a little bit more crate time. Anyways, this is like, this is a statistic. This isn't my number. This is like the national number. Most puppies need anywhere between 16 to 20 hours of sleep in order for them to be well regulated, calm, and relaxed throughout the day. So if they're not getting an hour and a half of sleep every like 2 to 3 hours, so they're in the crate for an hour and a half, out for 30 minutes, or 2 and 1, or 3 and 1.5, like if you're not doing those back and forth, you probably have a overstimulated puppy. Most people do. They just don't even realize it. I would say 95% of owners' homes that I go to, I walk in, the puppy's crazy. After 20 minutes of training, walk and play, the dog can lay down and settle to a small degree. We put them in the crate, they're asleep in 5 minutes. They're like, We didn't even realize that was a capability. So you have to have that balance with your puppy. If you guys ever want to check out our schedule, you can go on our Instagram, look at our bio, like check the link in our bio. We have, oh, it's in TikTok too. Nice, cool. So we have a link in our bio that can give you guys that like skeleton of the structure schedule, and you can kind of like plug in your numbers for age and all that stuff to find out what schedule your dog should be on.
Do you want to do this one?
Yes.
Okay, I have a 4-month-old German Shepherd, and I'm going crazy. He wakes me up 3 to 4 times a night.
All right, 4-month-old German Shepherd, and I'm going crazy. He wakes me up 3 to 4 times a night. Oof, that's a pain. All right, so these are the things that I look for. So one is the dog going potty. I hope you're on. Can you scroll down? Thank you. If you're on, I'm hoping you can throw in a couple of answers for me. When is the final potty that you're giving your dog? It should be the final moment before you guys go to bed. Are you giving free access to water to your dog throughout the day? If so, that needs to go away. They should get a half cup of water for every 30 pounds of body weight every 2 to 3 hours all throughout the day. If I have a dog who's constantly needing to go potty in the middle of the night, I should eliminate that water bowl around 5 or 6 p.m. around their last meal. I give one final potty before I go to bed. I'm in bed at 11 p.m. There's a 10:59 potty I'm doing with my puppy. That dog should be sleeping in a crate. If they're not sleeping in a crate, that's probably half your battle. Is if they can move around and walk throughout the night, they're pacing. Pacing leads to need to go potty. So one, if they have access to water, they're probably drinking water throughout the night. If they're not in a crate, they're pacing, moving around. If they are in a crate and you're having to get them out every time, that's probably more of a water issue. If everything I'm saying has already been done, you might have a UTI in your dog. Like it might be a legit medical issue. 3 to 4 times a night is a bit excessive. If you're not giving free access to water, you've already measured out your water, and you have your dog in a crate. That's usually my go-to. But yeah, 10:59 potty if you're going to bed at 11. What else we got?
More questions? 4-month-old female lab have tried everything for her to like her crate during the day, white noise, positive, etc.
Oh, okay. So we have a crate question from Caitlin. What was it? Caitlin. From Caitlin. Her dog is 4 months old.
She does great at night though, no whining or anything, so it doesn't like crate.
So it's separation anxiety then. Ouch, that one's tough. Honestly though, it's much harder if they bark in the crate all night too. I had a client that their dog would bark in the daytime and at nighttime. So let's kind of figure out where the gap is. You got more for me? No? Okay, cool. We got to figure out where the gap is. So this is one thing I find happens a lot of time in the daytime is when dogs come out of the crate, they're free roam. There's no leash. They're just kind of doing their own thing, going wherever they want. There is a massive difference from being freely out of the crate, doing whatever the heck they want, and then being told they have to go to a crate where they're confined to a small area. They can only do a small circle, lay down, and go to sleep. They're like biting at the bit to go do stuff. But also, I need those windows checked off. So if you've been here since the beginning, I mentioned our training windows. We have our activity time, our walk, our train time, which is walk and training, like our work time. And then we have our play window and then we have our break window. If I'm not doing that work window and that play window and maybe some form of enrichment, which is like 5 minutes in the front yard after my morning potty, where I just let her kind of walk around, sniff and check things out. If I'm not doing that, you might just have an overstimulated dog. We can't put a dog who hasn't had at least 10 to 15, maybe 20 minutes of training or a walk or some form of exercise back in the crate. Otherwise, they will usually just kind of carry on barking. Is that in addition to my question? No, okay. Otherwise, they're going to be just overstimulated. So let me break that down. Sorry, I had 2 cups of coffee and I am just wired right now. I bring a dog out of the crate. I need some version of walk and play training and some version of play where it's like constructive, productive play. Tug, break, tug, 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 drop, wait, eventually let it go, sit, good, break, give the toy back, they get to play again. I want to do that for like 5-10 minutes. I'm doing training and I need patterning. Patterning is how I calm dogs down and create more calm inside of crate. Patterning is doing like place, sit, good, pause, excited dog, wagging their tail. I'm waiting in there. Then I give food. So I'm not rewarding crazy. I want to start looking, promoting, and then rewarding the calm I get, because that's what I want inside the crate too. So I do a fast-paced training session to tune in focus, slow pace at the end to slow them down, and I'm trying to help them relax. I'll do a little bit of play to kind of get out that bigger energy. I'll do existence on place for 5-10 minutes, and then I'll put them back in the crate after that. If I get barking, It really sucks, but you do kind of just have to ignore it sometimes. You could try tapping the crate. I mean, I've heard the chocolate theory where a dude told me one time, he was like, I just take off the sandal and chuck the sandal across the room. It taps the crate because the dog can't see it. It was a dog trainer who told me this. And because the crate's covered, the dog can't see it. It's kind of like a really big surprise. And I'm like, what about if the dog's anxious? And they're like, kind of works either way. You just got to see the dog's personality. There's a lot of different methods out there. The problem is that they don't all work for certain dogs. So you just got to kind of find what works for you guys. My recommendation with the training walk and play is to help you have a calmer dog. When they're in the crate, they don't sleep, they bark the whole time. You bring them out still, you still do your walk, your play, your training. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult advice because it hurts us to do it. It doesn't hurt your dog. They're already in like mental pain of like having separation anxiety. When a dog comes out and you finish your walk, play, and training, you still give that break window, that existence window. However, there is no sleep outside of crate. This is where it gets real hard because what they're basically doing, usually dogs who have severe separation anxiety from this, is when they're in the crate away from us, they're panicked, barking, crying, whining, pacing, going back and forth. They come out, they get their training, their walk, their play, they feel satisfied and they knock out on their place. They're literally reversing what they're supposed to be doing. Place is for sleep. Crate is for barking. We don't want that. So anytime they sleep outside the crate, it could be after training, just laying on the floor, sleeping by your foot. The minute they go to sleep, we pick up the leash, walk them back to crate, put them in the crate. You might need to get like a hand under the bum, kind of get them in there. Don't shove them, but just methodically guide them in until they have to go in. You wait them out. They do the next hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever you're doing with crate time. They might bark for the whole time or even half of it. Every time they come out though and try to sleep, you're actually creating more of an exhausted state. Every time that you put them back in the crate, you're helping them to learn how to sleep in the crate. After a while, usually a day of doing this, the exhaustion level is up here. They're not sleeping outside a crate anymore. They're just mentally like fried and exhausted. There will be a point usually where you put them in the crate and they have to sleep. Once they sleep, it's like getting them over the hump. Like you just have to cross that bridge once. Now they realize they can sleep in the crate. Once you get over that hump, it's a lot easier the next time, the next time, the next time. So if you are really struggling with it, I hope that advice helps you. I know that was like a few different points. One was very easy to do just with more training. One was a lot more difficult. So maybe try the easy one first, work your way up to that.
We had another crate question. Is there a trick to getting them to sleep in the crate all night?
Oh, yeah. You need to follow the water advice I mentioned to the previous guy who's getting 3 to 4. Was it accidents or wake ups?
No, wake
It was wake ups. Okay. The gentleman who asked earlier for the 3 to 4 wake ups in the middle of the night. Caitlin, excuse me, the madam who asked about that. It's the same advice. You need to get on a really good like water schedule. So you were given a measured amount of water every 2 to 3 hours. Go off of my half cup of water for every 30 pounds of body weight every 2 to 3 hours. So if the dog weighs 30 pounds, you're giving a half cup. If they weigh 15 pounds, you're giving a quarter cup. If they weigh 7 pounds, you're giving 1/8 of a cup. Like just follow your measurements like that, and you guys should be pretty solid. Yeah. What's our next one? Can we go down a little bit?
Want to do Instagram?
Yeah, well, they keep pausing. Instagram, please don't pause when I answer your question.
Hey there, general question. How do you know when the playtime is not playing anymore? My puppy likes to play with adult dogs. When we see another puppy, the playtime looks totally different.
Oh, that one's tough. Okay, so her puppy is playing with the adult dogs, and then when she plays with the other puppies, it looks completely different. So is it more intense with the puppies? Or is it more intense? Let me clarify that question. When she plays with the adult dogs, are the adult dogs kind of like being on top of her the whole time and beating her up? Or when she plays with the puppies, is she the dog that's on top of the puppies, kind of beating them up? Like what my brain is going towards is, they froze.
Instagram does that.
What I'm looking for is, play with puppies is supposed to be balanced. I want you to think of like, if you live by the ocean, it's like an ocean wave hitting the shore. It's every single day, all throughout the day, going to hit the shore and recede. Hit the shore and then recede. More biting with the
puppies.
Yeah. Hit the shore and recede. That's balance. So your puppy should kind of be doing the same thing. If your puppy's on top of the other dog, biting their ear, nibbling at their neck, they froze. Nibbling at their neck, chewing on their ears, and your puppy doesn't get back off to let the other puppy do the same thing to them. That's what we need for balance. If it's one dog on top of the other, constantly on top of the other, it's my job to step forward and bump through them. So I'm actually using my body. I see two dogs playing. I see one on top. I'm like, hey, and I move through them. So I lead with like a lunge almost. Like we're not bumping. We're not lifting the leg off. We're just kind of walking through with like a lungy walk. What happens is they start respecting your space as a leader of the pack. So when they're playing and it's too rough, I'm like, hey, settle down. And I start moving in. They're like, oh yeah, yes, sir. Good idea, Dad. Good idea. That play was getting a little too rough. 2 seconds later, I tell them break, they get to go play again. But that intensity is like one step lower. Without interruption and like interference of owner breaking up the pack, they create their own pack mentality. The problem though is there's always an alpha in a pack. I'm the alpha. No, I don't follow that principle. I follow leadership mentality, but you're the leader. They don't get to be leaders of each other. That's when you start getting fights and you get like little dominance battles where they want to be in charge of each other. As long as we're the leader, we're the alpha, we're the top dog of the household, they look to you guys for leadership. So that's my opinion. I think there should always be interference of dog play, especially for learning puppies. Now, the difference of your puppy playing with an adult dog and your puppy playing with another puppy. If the adult dogs are like laying on your puppy, they're trying to dominate your puppy in order to settle him down. I would actually, and if they seem like they get frustrated, and what I mean by frustrated is the adult dog is walking away and your puppy's chasing after them, like nipping at their tail, jumping on their shoulder, and they're doing like a little snap back, not a bite, a warning snap back to kind of ward them off. If your puppy looks at that dog and goes, you're good, like I'm good, backs off, lays down for a few minutes, and then gets back up 5 minutes later, that's a really receptive puppy. That is friggin' phenomenal. You probably don't have that because I would say I get 1 in 10 million dogs that actually have that level like response because it's a puppy. So if you have the more natural response, which is your puppy still jumps, still nips, and still wants to like play with them, it's your job as the owner to go step on their leash, allow the older dog to walk away from them, pick up your leash, puppy come, place, sit, good, treat if they can take it. And if they don't respond to anything I just said, I'm like, yeah, they need about a 15, 20-minute break. When they start looking and responding to food again is when I consider letting them play again. So that means that they're not so overstimulated that I no longer exist. They're overstimulated. And once I do exist, that's when I consider giving the break and releasing. For puppy play, it's not necessarily that the play is aggressive. It's just more intense. They're kind of learning about each other. Puppy teeth are like little razor blade, like little fang things, but they don't really pierce skin that well of other puppies. So they can grab each other's skin and just tug it all around and pull out each other and grab each other's cheeks and drag it all around. None of that matters to them. They're happy with that usually. But if it's one-sided, then in my opinion, the dog that's being dominated will eventually they're going to either develop fear or they're going to want to fight back. If they fight back and the puppy who's more dominant doesn't like that, well, they fight back harder. It's a back and forth vicious cycle of intensity and like almost like adding on to each other. That's our job. Step in, block those puppies, interrupt it. That way they can settle down for a moment and then kind of come back and start playing again.
You were late. Do you want to do a couple more?
Yeah, let's do a couple more. I was only 13 minutes late.
Hello, I have a 12-week-old dachshund. Peas everywhere, even with a wee pad.
You need to have a leash on that puppy. So I'm not saying that you got to do crate. Anyone here knows that I am a big fan of crate and I do recommend it. One, because it makes your job easier, but you got a dachshund. And they tend to be the worst separation dogs, anxiety dogs I've ever experienced in 20 years as of March as a dog trainer. The absolute worst separation anxiety. So if you are doing crate and it's worked out really well, pat yourself on the back. There's about 4 trillion other dachshund owners out there that didn't do great with it. Good for you. If you haven't done crate, I'd recommend.
Yes, he will not leave my side.
Yeah, that one's tough. You can try crating. It's freaking brutal. For the first like 2-3 weeks. You'll have to follow my no affection when they're out of the crate, training, walking, and playing, and like there's no sleeping outside of crate. If you want to even do crate, follow all that advice. I won't go over it again. I won't badger you with it. But the other side is you need a leash on your puppy. So if he's not going to do a crate, you're going to do like a playpen or something. That's fine too. Have the playpen. Problem with playpen is it always needs to be in the room that you're in. You cannot leave a puppy alone unless they're in crate, secured without a collar on, so there's no choking hazard. If they're in the playpen, they can jump up, get their paw stuck, hang and break their paw and be hanging from it for a couple hours. So you got to make sure you're always able to see what they're doing and are around them when they're in the playpen for a safety thing. When they're in the playpen, you ignore it. There's no talking, no love. I have a playpen in my office while I work. Nice, cool, that's excellent. So yeah, playpen in the office while you work. While they're in the playpen, I treat it like it is a crate. I don't look, talk, or touch them. I just let them do their own thing because it's going to be kind of like your version of a crate. If we give them affection in there, well, then you'll probably never be able to leave them in the playpen. The reason I don't do it in the beginning is because puppies are still testing boundaries, jumping up on things, trying to like break through things and get out. When your puppy's a year, year and a half, 2 years old, you might still need the playpen for the anxiety. Like when he's out of the crate and you leave, he might chew up cords, be nervous and walk around constantly. The playpen would be good for that. Once he's older though, you can leave him in the playpen without watching him after you've like really trained him how to be calm and settled in there. Now let's talk about the actual thing you asked, which is potty. I know I went on a bit of a tangent. I do that. When you bring your puppy out of the playpen, you need a harness on your puppy, leash on their spine, like leash on their back, and I actually will walk them to the potty pad. And wiener dogs are so good at putting their front feet on the pad and peeing off the pad because they're so loud and they kind of don't make the full connection. I use a playpen even around the potty pad. Get yourself like a standard 5-foot diameter pen. It folds around itself twice, and it can make a perfect like 2 foot by 2 foot or 1.5 by 1.5 foot square, which is the exact size of the potty pad. So make your pen into a single panel square, put your potty pad inside of that, open up the door, or walk your puppy to the edge of it, pick him up, set him inside of it. Now, this is the weird part. If you ever want to be able to let your dog potty on leash, not in your home on a potty pad, this part really matters. You actually have to stand there and hold the leash. I know it's so annoying. You actually have to stand next to this playpen that your dog is inside. They can't go anywhere. And you have to hold the leash and just hang out there and wait, because your puppy is actually getting used to things and like, sorry, not getting used to things. Your puppy is getting used to new habits. He's creating new habits. So if your puppy gets used to pottying where he wants on this pad with you not there, not holding the leash, the day that you take him outside to go potty outside and you have him on the leash will feel very restrictive and very suppressive. He won't want the leash on and he'll try to run away from it. So you got to get him used to dragging a leash inside the house, potting on leash, and then doing training on leash as well. Whatever we do inside, he'll eventually be able to do outside. Nothing lives in a vacuum. So think of this potty situation. Eventually, you're going to move that pad closer and closer to the door, maybe even eventually outside. If you guys ever do want to move it outside and start getting potties outside, eliminate the pad completely. Have your puppy in the playpen, and then when you let him out of the play or bring him out of the playpen, walk him over to the area that you want him to go in, tell him to go potty. Just wait him out 3 to 5 minutes. What was the next part? Did she have a follow-up on that?
She just agreed with you about the potty accident
Cool.
thing.
What else we got?
Fast one?
Let's do
I
one
think
more.
it's fast. Is there a difference in training a pit bull puppy versus other breeds?
Yeah, I mean, they have a different temperament. So every breed has a different temperament. And I know everyone is like, oh, it's a pit bull. They're going to bite people. They're a vicious dog. I've been bit by probably 50 chihuahuas in my career. I've been bit by 2 pit bulls in my entire career. The problem, though, is when pit bulls bite, they have the crushing pressure of like a crane. So they just do a lot more damage when they bite. I'm just going to say that because there's always a lot of like different things about pitties. A pitty puppy is going to be more excitable, more intense. They have a much wider, stronger jaw. So a puppy that normally just kind of like gnaws on you teething, it feels like a baby shark bite from a pitty puppy. They have every dog has about the same amount of impulse control. Like breed's not going to change that a ton, but if you have a pitty puppy, you're going to get a little bit more like zoomies, bit more nutty jumping, nippiness, chewing on different furniture. So I'd recommend getting a either a Benebone or like a Nylabone or something. There's a Nylabone puppy pack. Don't buy that. It will last you like 30 seconds. You want to actually get an adult dog Benebone or just something that has like a really like strong chew density to it. And yeah, have a leash on your puppy. Make sure you're doing training every morning. Pitties have a terrible name. Most of the bad pitties out there, they have bad trainers or they have bad owners. So if your pitty's a bad pitty, it's probably because you're a bad owner. So do the work, put in the time when they're young, and you'll usually have a pretty freaking solid dog. I've said freaking like 3 times today. It's my favorite word today.
Yes.
I know, it's not the bad word though. That's how I limit it. Yeah, I mean, I don't have breed prejudice here. We don't have breed prejudice, but I can tell you right now, if I get a Rottie puppy who's 5 months old coming into our program, I'm like, yeah, we need to evaluate them because a 5-month-old Rottie is already 3 months past their socialization stage. Most socialization happens between 10 and 14 weeks. 10 and 14 weeks is where most puppies learn to socialize. So if I have a dog who's I have a 5-month pitty who's never socialized between 3 and 5 months, that dog is probably going to struggle a lot with having some possible reactivity issues, some fear aggression issues, or even just straight up aggression, because that socialization window is super important. Now, that socialization window isn't about going out there and playing with 500 or 300 dogs like that one dog trainer said, which, by the way, that famous thing where it's like, whichever dog trainer said, go out and find 500 dogs for your dog to say hello to, that got totally misconstrued. If you watch his entire video, he said, go around 500 dogs with your young puppy. If your dog is playing with every single dog they see, you have almost no value. They're going out there to find dogs, and when you start holding them back from lunging to go play with dogs, that's when you start getting reactivity, because it's frustration that turns into anger, that turns into growling and biting and barking, and possibly even redirection onto you guys. Obviously, I've worked with a lot of pitties. I know the redirection style. So what we're focused on more than anything is get them out socializing. I'm going to a local park. I'm going to bring my place cot, bring my entire lunch meal, like the kibble, the treats, whatever I need. I'm going to put my puppy on place. The nearest dog is 200 feet away across the park, and my dog is looking and watching. I just kind of hang out. Eventually, they're like, and they look up like, what the hell, man? What are we doing here? Good. Handful of kibble, and they're like, holy smokes, I got food for doing nothing. I just had to look at dad. And then looks at me 10 seconds later, good. Handful of kibble, and then I stand up, I go, puppy, let's go. I walk 5 feet, good food. Let's go, place, good food. Sit down, good food, and I hang out on the bench again. I'm doing this constantly to build an understanding. If dogs socialize too early, they may not have it. What's it say? Sometimes walk people. He stares 180. Is that fixation? Can you scroll up a little bit? I want to see what she wrote up there, because I feel like I'm getting on a tangent.
5 months.
He is 5 months. Okay. If you've missed your socialization window, it's not too late, but I'd recommend doing it now. And I wouldn't let I don't do on-leash screenings ever for protection or working breeds. Ever. I don't really do it for like doodles or any of those guys either, because they tend to just be really overexcited and want to jump and stuff. Yeah. If you haven't done it yet, get out there ASAP and start doing it. You're not socializing with dogs when you're doing this, because you don't want to socialize on leash. You want to get dog play dates off leash with dogs that are a little bit older than him, a bit more mature, in the opposite sex. Don't get a 9, 10, 11 month unneutered male that's like another pitty or like Rottie or Dobie or something. That's going to be a big fight, and it could trigger reactivity or aggression. So my big thing is you want to get them outside. You want to start using food and being able to get focus with other dogs at the park. You want to be able to walk down the street, see a dog at a distance. Your dog stares and wants to go towards them. I redirect with food. I go a different direction. And if my dog hyper focuses and stares, yes, that is fixation. If we do that, I'm going to leash across my hip and start walking away from that dog. And there is no version where my dog doesn't follow me. Because of your situation, I'd look into getting like maybe even like a martingale or something that's going to give you a bit more leverage. I don't usually do a gentle leader for pitties. They tend to be too strong in their neck and they just kind of force their way through it. So find yourself a good training tool that's going to give you some head control and head direction. I think that's your next step. If you are seeing any fixation or like hard staring, like the 180 stare is not a huge deal, but if he's 180 stare and his whole body turns into that 360 to watch, that's when I'm looking at a private balanced dog trainer with experience with puppies. A balanced dog trainer who works with aggression and has experience with puppies, it's kind of rare to find. So you got to kind of look at their credentials a little bit. There's not many of us out there. Okay, I got the thumb. We're done. All right, guys, thank you for joining. We'll see you guys next week. And I think Bethany will be back by next week. She played hooky twice in a row. Thanks for tuning into Ask a Puppy Trainer Show.
We hope you found some advice that you can use to help make puppyhood a little easier.
Don't forget to join us live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time on Instagram or TikTok at The Puppy Academy.
This is where you can get a chance to ask your burning questions in real time. And if you want even more puppy guidance, visit our website at thepuppyacademy.com for info on joining our online puppy school.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing to our podcast and leaving us a review.
These reviews let more people find us and supports us on our mission to help as many puppy parents as possible around the globe.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.